Hey, how's it going, folks? We're back for another edition of Boxing Chit. It's myself, Josh, here, along with Boz. What's going on there with your Boz?
Oh, not much really. I'm just kind of, just a little weary, but that's why I didn't want to, turn on my laptop or log on from my laptop anyway. I've been out and walking a lot today. Yeah.
Understand. Hey, that's how it is sometimes. But
Yeah.
man, appreciate you being here, of course. Timing always is key here
Anytime.
because you're across the Atlantic and we make it happen right here, folks. So appreciate you there, Bob. Real quick, shout out to my man Skywalker Boxing Media. Skywalker Boxing Media. Salute to Mo Boxing, no problems, and that connection right there for you,
Always
Skywalker.
worth a
So
strong.
appreciate you being here, buddy. Again, we're here to talk boxing. We're gonna be focused on more of the modern talk here today. As you know, we do like to talk about history on the channel, but we talk modern boxing as well. So that's why we are here on this particular day. And yeah, we appreciate you, Skywalker. And I will not that later today we'll be doing the Tim and Tim show. So this will be the first episode under the new banner of Skywalker Boxing Media rather, and the connection with Mo Boxing, no problem. So appreciate you there, Skywalker. We'll continue to collaborate on things. So thank you all who are listening now and will be listening. Salute to my man Rodolfo Rivera Jr. in the building here. Appreciate you being in here, Rodolfo. We're here to talk a little boxing. Hey, you're always a staunch supporter there, Rodolfo, so you are appreciated. Be sure to give him a follow, folks. Show some love for sure. Salute to the Bosnian Bull there, says Skywalker Boxing Media.
Thanks.
Good
Thank
stuff
you.
there for sure. We appreciate you all being here, no doubt about it. And so we had some pretty solid boxing action this past weekend. And we will talk about the action from the week prior as well, because there was a lot of good there were a number of good fights that actually took place. Now,
Mm.
as far as this weekend, the marquee fight was Christian Mbili taking on Sergey Derevianchenko, and this was going down in Montreal, Canada. It was a top-ranked card. Of course, there were ties to Eye of the Tiger, which is a promotion out of Canada, Eye of the Tiger Promotions, and that's where you see the likes of Mbili before. You've seen Makhmadov, who's tied to them, a number of other fighters as well. The fighter that knocked out Steve Rolls, Stephen Butler, I think is his
Yeah.
name. They're tied
Even.
to Eye of the Tiger at some capacity, so they're one of the big ones there. Ivan Michelle, Group Ivan Michelle, they are also a big player in Montreal. But that being said, this is top ranked Eye of the Tiger, and we got to see some pretty good action. And Billy Derevianchenko, sort of a crossroads fights in some sense for Derevianchenko, who has given us great fights, is always action and entertaining, and he has come up short in a lot of the big fights, though it has been very close. And he's
Oh,
taking on him Billy, who is
yeah.
sort of like the Bosnian bull, I guess you can say a bull himself. And he comes forward, throws a lot of punches. He takes some hits at time, but he's willing to hit and get hit, or hit. He's willing to get hit to get off his hits, and it tends to work out in his favor because I believe he's now 28-0 in his career, and looks like he could be a real force for anyone he's facing there. 168 pounds, because he's determined and he can throw a ton of punches, as we can see deep into fights. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the action there, Boz. It was ended up
Yeah.
being a unanimous decision
Oh,
in
yeah.
favor of Christian Mbili with scores of 100 or no, yeah, 100 to 90,
18.
99 to 91, which is what I scored it on Fight Night scores, and then 98-92.
Yeah.
So the most that
It was a 10
Derevianchenko
round.
got was 2 rounds, though the action in itself may have been a bit misleading because it was a pretty solid action-based fight, and we saw a
Yeah.
lot from Derevianchenko, just not enough.
Yeah. Those scores were definitely looked too wide. Way too wide. I mean, Derevyanchenko had his moments. He even had haven't had Mobili hurt once or twice. I don't know, maybe, but Mobili. I thought he looked like all in all the better man, but certainly not by such a wide margin, And you gotta feel bad for Derevyanchenko. This is think his sixth loss, and none of them were, maybe except for Charlo. I haven't yet seen the whole fight. Were really, clear losses. Like all of those fights were really close. It could have gone either way, I guess. And against Triple G, man, he said he got robbed. Really,
Yeah.
so I mean, but he is always there to give a good fight, and I think the audiences really love him for that. He is a very exciting fighter because he comes to slug it out. He doesn't come to box and play chess, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, yeah. I mean, Mobili really looks like a potential future star. I mean, he looked really good also last night, and he got power, but Derenchenko is just too tough, for to be stopped. And obviously, since he fought some really big punchers, like Triple G, Mungia, Jacobs, and Charlo himself, he went the distance against them all and gave them tough fights. And so, yeah, I mean. Have we seen Derevyanchenko in his last major fight? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, certainly doesn't look good for him. He's 38 now, I believe, and has lost now six. I mean, basically all of his biggest fights, even
Yeah.
though he didn't deserve to lose them all. But, that's his record. The paper, doesn't lie. I mean, the facts are there. So, yeah. And all in all, we see a potential making of a next star also last night, and a really bad scorecard, I might add. Pretty, rotten home judging.
Hey, I hear you there, Bob. I hear you there. Now, what I will say is, of course,
What
you
happened?
can hear me, but yeah, the camera went out here. I'm gonna get us back up and running right here. It's like, it's
That
like,
camera really
you
has problems,
know,
issues.
that's when you go this route.
When you want to go fancy, that's what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Hey, we're back up and running, folks. But what I was gonna say is that I hear your full scale there, Boz. And what I will say is I was on Fight Night Score. Shout out to Fight Night Scores, fight-score.com. I had it 99-91. 99-91. So me and the judges seem to be on a similar side
Sure.
right there. And what I will say is Derevianchenko was game, and a lot of the rounds were a lot like his career in some of the close fights in his career. Those rounds were close, very razor thin in some sense, and it mattered. And what it came down to was what you liked or saw more of.
Mm.
And I thought that in some of those rounds, while Derevianchenko was game and battling back, I gave Billy the edge in a lot of those closer rounds, though
Yeah.
some could have certainly gone the other way. I did give Derevianchenko one round that I thought he certainly won clearly. Then you had a number of closer ones, but very subjective. Derevianchenko got caught with some big punches, and he was landing some big punches on him, Billy. But both of those guys are hard headed in the sense that when that happens, they battle back, And I think
Yeah.
that's what made it the way it was right there. But hey, could have been some raw eye scoring that was a little bit off there. I'm not saying that's out of the picture, but I had it 99-91 in a close action packed fight. that is one of those dark horses for fight of the year, I would say, in some sense, because despite the scorecards, it was a very good fight. Now, Skywalker notes that Derevianchenko had an arm injury. I did hear them mentioning it. I didn't see it there live, but I'm not surprised by it. Derevianchenko continuing to battle forward despite having an arm injury, because he is that type of fighter, a fighter that hasn't been stopped despite taking some big punches. He always finds a way to work his way right out of it. And man, yeah, just kind of some tough luck in some of these losses. I was chatting and I mentioned the fight with Jaime Munguia and how close that was. He gets dropped in the last round of the contest, which tended to be a factor because the scores were somewhat close. So always just those close fights. excuse me, but always just those close fights for him. But I still think that he has so much. He has given the game so much, man. He should truly be appreciated. And that's what I mentioned in my posting last night. We have to appreciate Sergey Derevianchenko. ESPN was trying to usher him out of the door, but as a person who is the same age as Derevianchenko, he might have a lot left in the tank. You know what I'm saying? But those are my thoughts on it there. I do think that Derevianchenko showed himself to be as tough as they come, and man, he's been a staple and a sight to see here in the sport here over the years that he's been competing. As far as what's next, that's going to be interesting. We'll see what is next. Of course, this is his third world title shot. He's just come up short, or was this a title shot? This may not have been a title shot actually, but.
No,
but he's had 3 world title shots, I believe is what the case is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think this is just some minor title that Billy, maybe, I don't know, yes, is holding, probably just some Continental America something.
Yeah, Continental, yeah, I see. Yep.
Yeah. Mm.
So he got a title shot against Munguia, Gennady Golovkin, and Daniel Jacobs. So, yeah, those were at middleweight. Well, Munguia was at 168, and he was so close there in the Munguia fight as well.
Yeah, I forgot to mention.
And I agree.
He also lost to Adames, so that was a very close fight also.
Oh, yeah, Carlos Adames. So, yeah, he has a very tough, solid resume right there. And as you mentioned, that Triple G fight was very close as well.
Mm. Yeah, that was kind of
funny. Skywalker mentions he's seen some weaknesses in Billy last night that other fighters could capitalize on.
Yeah, I mean, he got caught there. I don't remember which round, but he was caught by Derevianchenko.
Yeah, he took some big shots for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Derevianchenko is a guy, his power is not he's not a really huge puncher, but he does have power anyway, obviously. It's just that, hello, Alexander.
Cheers, Alexander Campbell. Welcome to the arena there, buddy. No, you make a great point there. Of course, he's one of his tough ancestors. One of his ancestors was a Hitman, a true Cossack, no doubt about it right there, Alexander Cameron. Salute to you there, buddy. I mean, as tough as they come right there. I mean, he has been a treat to watch and truly an appreciation.
He's very tough. I mean, he's more of an accumulation puncher, but, that's what also makes him so exciting, I mean, those guys have to go, quite many rounds to knock out someone, several rounds anyway. So yeah, you don't want the fight to be over in a few seconds, like with those one punch guys.
Yeah.
Like it was, for instance, with Babic and Fisher not so long ago. Yeah, a month ago it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. Hey, yeah, you make a great point. There, Boz. Salute to Ratsclot in the building. Ratsclot 222 said salute Boz as well. And Ratsclot also said we got some good boxing fights lately. No doubt about it, Ratsclot. So appreciate you there, Ratsclot. Folks, give him a like, subscribe, go check out the channel, all that good stuff. We got some content over there talking boxing you name it, and some boxing history, modern and history. So appreciate you there, Rasclot. So thanks for dropping by there, buddy. Skywalker mentions if you can get through the storm of punches and not let him get close, he keeps his head on the center line, this being Mbili. So yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that certainly he will take a punch to get his punches off, and he seems to not be shy about that whatsoever. But I think he's certainly a tough customer any way you slice it for anyone who wants to get in there with him. You're just going to have to weather an offensive storm, because that's essentially what he comes with right there, an offensive storm. And hey, that's something you're going to have to know you'll have to deal with. And he seems to carry his power despite his build, and he's a muscular guy. He's still able to throw a ton of punches even late in the rounds, and we saw that late in the fight he was still gunning, and he was able to hurt Derevianchenko in those last 2 rounds, throwing some big bombs. So it's a guy that's tough for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Billy was definitely dominant there. Yeah.
So I brought up the Ring TV ratings there, Boz, and this is for 168 pounds. As we can see, Mbili is number 1 according to Ring. The champion, of course, who was once undisputed. He doesn't have the IBF belt any longer. Is Canelo, but Mbili moved up upon David Benavidez and Morrell, moving up and fighting at 175 pounds. So that made him the guy now. And Munguia's behind him. Iglesias, that's a guy who fought last night and seems to be the real deal himself.
Yeah, he
does.
Mention him. Yeah, he looks really good against Sena Agbeko, who isn't a bum or anything by any means.
No.
So,
since we're on that, we have to mention that. Yeah, he was able to stop Agbeko. I think it was like the 3rd round, maybe 2nd or 3rd round, and
second round.
Second round, okay. Yeah, and he was really laying into him.
Yeah, the way he knocked him down, that was like school, like textbook stuff. The left hook and then the right on top.
Oh yeah. At the point of the stoppage, he was handing him an absolute beating, so the referee had no choice but to step in there.
Yeah, that was a beating. Then on the ropes that followed, and it was a good stoppage. You don't want the fighters to be subjected to unnecessary punishment.
Yeah. So if we're thinking about future fights, hey, Mbili, what's next for him? Of course, he wants Canelo, and Canelo will need an opponent here in May of next year, which he tends to usually operate in September and May. Hey, Mbili seems to have put himself right in line for such. And I think that he can really make a go of it from an overall standpoint. Back here on the regular cam now.
There we go again. I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, Billy can at least for sure give Canelo a tough fight and an entertaining fight. Maybe even, why not to win? But, of course, if the fight goes a distance, he will not be the guy who the judges will favor, of course. But, anyway, I would like to see that fight. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that, Canelo, stylistically, he'll have some opportunities, and Mbili would certainly have to work to get to him, and he'll take some damage in doing so. But he just seems like such a determined fighter that it makes me want to see him in there with Canelo. But of course, if that doesn't work out, him and Iglesias, they were fighting on the same card right there. So that seems like that would be a pretty impressive fight as well, where it's going to be some big bombs thrown.
Yeah, Iglesias he's 12-0 now with 11 knockouts, and that's an impressive record. He needs a fight, before he can eventually challenge someone like Canelo, maybe, or Munguia. Maybe he would also be a good fight, I guess. In the meantime, So. Looking at these other guys, Berlanga is the one who's, of course, gonna face Canelo next.
Yeah.
which
Yep,
we
that's
are,
his home.
which most people aren't so happy about, but that's how it is.
Oh yeah, thirdly, Diego Pacheco's out there. I like Diego Pacheco, 6'3",
Yeah, it's
and hey, he's a guy who he could. I really like him. I think he could be a tough challenge for anyone. He's with Matchroom Boxing, so
oh
he's
yeah,
certainly worth a
mm,
mention there.
interesting. Yeah,
And
there's
Bazinian, I believe he's going
Bazin.
to be fighting someone
Yeah, he's
coming up.
fighting someone kind of
Oh,
good.
Hami Munguia. So he's going to be taking
Oh
on Hami
yeah, that's
Munguia
right.
coming up.
I was gonna say he's fighting someone real pretty good. Yeah, that's all I know. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so those people have fights lined up. You mentioned Berlanga, Lester Martinez. He fought in DC not too long ago. He's a pretty solid fighter with a big punch, and of
Mm.
course we know Beck the Bully, and then William Skull, who's out of Cuba, who was initially uh, Canelo's mandatory. He was Canelo's mandatory for the IBF, I believe, and I believe that's why he may have been stripped right there. It was Skull and maybe Budzinian. They were
Yeah.
mandatories in some capacity. But yeah,
I mean Lester Martinez. You were talking about. Oh, sorry.
yeah, Lester, he can box, but he has a pretty solid punch as well.
Right.
He's got a lot of stoppages, and he fought and beat Carlos Gongora in his last
Oh,
fight, so
that's
that
a
was a
good
good win
one.
for him, and it was
Yeah.
a clear victory as well. And he hit Gongora with some big shots, and he wasn't able to stop
Word. Yeah.
Gongora, but man, he certainly was rocking him on a number of occasions.
Just a
So
second.
he's
Okay.
legit. Skywalker Facts and Billy B, the Beast, tough fight for anyone. Just hate to see him lose to a slick boxer. So yeah, that'll be interesting, to see. Hey, they have to be able to weather that storm at all times. So that's
Yeah.
one part of it that goes into account. Alexander Campbell, the other Kozak Bulchuk was robbed. The judges were retarded. I got you there. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was a fight. Yeah, we're gonna
I
get to as
agree.
well.
Yeah. I
Uh,
agree. I mean, yeah, that was a really close one, and on top, Wachuk had two knockdowns. He scored. So yeah, that was kind of controversial, of course, if nothing.
Yeah, it was that was a good one. That was the for my
Yeah,
money fight of the year right there that took place last week. So that was fight of the year. 154 pounds is where that fight was contested. So that's definitely one worth mentioning there.
oh
So
yeah,
we're definitely going to get to that one. Osley is climbing up that list quick. Indeed he is.
mm. I mean,
Iglesias.
yeah, I mean, he's a Cuban. Enough said.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Rodolfo asked the camera, "Is it overheating?" It shouldn't be overheating. I had just turned it on, so sometimes, yeah, I run into issues. I just hooked it up for a good little bit. I'm gonna give it another shot here shortly to see if it gets right. But I use a dummy battery for it, which is plugged in that allows for it to stay on and last longer than using a battery. But overheating can be an issue for sure. But in this case, yeah, it hadn't been on very long. Um, William Skull was the dude that was going to fight Canelo for the IBF mandatory. Good stuff, Rodolfo. So yeah, I knew he was in the mix there. So Skull, he's a Cuban, so I imagine he's got some skills to him. But
well,
yeah, I don't
me
recall
too.
that I've seen him though. I do not recall that.
Yeah, now they are really. I think that's what's good. As now more Cuban fighters are, turning pro in time. Like not before, not until they, before it was like they would mostly turn pro after they turned 30. That was kind of late.
Yeah.
Or something like that, or just before 30. So by the time they got a title shot, they would be like 34, 35, and then even if they won, they couldn't have a very long, reign or stuff like that because they would soon lose their prime.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see that for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah, very interesting. But yeah, we see more getting those opportunities and hey, trying to take advantage of them as best they can. So hey, I love to see it, of course, because hey, they deserve the opportunity to do their thing.
yeah,
And these are the
yeah,
opportunities they get right here. So can't help but
they are
root for them
very.
getting that chance with all that talent.
Yeah, they are usually very dedicated. Like the same goes for these ex ex-Soviet, let's say, countries fighters. They are very good because they are very dedicated. Also, that's an important reason why I think. And the conditions they grow up under, like
Hmm.
like poverty and stuff. That it makes them tougher, both mentally and well, mostly mentally, but also maybe a little physically as well. So yeah.
Yeah. No, no.
Mm.
Great point right there, bud. Yeah, looks like my camera. I think it's the cord. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments, but I'll go ahead and we'll keep it moving with us here on this one. So, but no, good stuff there, Boz. So yeah, 168 opportunities. That's what we'll
Yeah,
say. It's actually turned out to be a pretty solid stacked division now, with a lot of the young
yeah.
talent mixed in with the vets. So
I'm
168, hey.
also yeah, I'm also gonna throw out another name there, which comes from where I come from, around the same area. That is the Croatian hope, Luka Plantic. You know,
Luka Plenchik.
yeah, he's a pretty solid, but right now he's still on. He's
Come
not.
up.
Yeah, he's fighting like mediocre fighters right now, but I hope he will get to fighting better ones soon. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, that's good stuff. Luka Plenchik. Remember the name, folks. I feel like I might have seen him. I feel like I might have. I have to double back on that. Don't quote me on it.
Plantic.
Plenchik. So
Yeah,
all right, one to watch right there. You heard it.
yeah,
You heard it here first from Boz. One to watch. So look out for that name in these high ranks here at some point, maybe sooner than later. Now, Boz on this card also the co-main event was Makhmadov Vianello, Guido Vianello against Makhmadov, the big intimidating Russian fighter who comes
yeah,
in, pops his neck, and yeah, he has some fighters beat before the
no,
contest even starts. Right there, uh,
yeah,
certainly a massive guy, but hey, Vianello matched up with him size wise. He was a bit lighter, but
yeah.
height
He's
height wise, he's a big dude. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that proved the size of that Vianello is not such a massive guy as Makhmudov, so he was able to really dominate and move better and land the punches, and yeah,
Yeah.
that enforced the stoppage because Makhmudov got a really badly shut eye, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, just got a beating, once again, just like, well, against Cabell, it was even worse. He did get stopped, actually, in 4 rounds. So,
Yeah,
but
chopped down to the body, had him taking a
yeah,
knee. Cavill had
yeah,
him on a knee, bended knee, like he was proposing.
yeah. So that fight was the first one to expose that he isn't, all that he was, said to be the new terror, like, of the heavyweights. But yeah, once again, we see, yeah, now he has been kind of overhyped, at least a little bit, and
Yeah.
yeah, quite a disappointing performance by him, and quite impressive one by
Yeah.
Vianello, of course. So yeah, now we have seen another cut stoppage, or to call it that, in
Yeah.
8 rounds. Hergovich versus Dubois was the first one not so long ago. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. This was eight rounds as well. Similar thing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. But no, you're right. I think you're spot on there. Makhmadov came in there, and I think what really showed is that lack of fundamental skill because he was just kind of bullying, charging
yeah.
in, kind
He
of
was
forward,
just
lunging type pattern, throwing big, heavy shots,
like,
and he was getting caught. So I'd imagine someone with a little bit more intention than Vianello had in some of those rounds would have stopped him even sooner. You know what I'm saying? Not
yeah,
that he can't take a big shot, but he is a big guy. But man, Vianello, he made Vianello look like he was the Filipino Flash in there, the way that he
yeah,
was moving.
yeah. I mean, Lionel just looked fit and yeah, not so big, like so massive. More like a tall guy who is in good shape, but not a monster. Like, yeah,
Oh
So
yeah, no doubt about it. There, hey, I agree. Radcliffe and Rodolfo on Canelo Berlanga. Yeah, his best chance is to try and impose his will on youth. Try and get one of those first round knockouts that made him rise to the
well,
radar.
that would be such a huge victory and upset, of course, but that's not gonna happen. I don't think the
Right,
chances are like 1%.
right. He needs to take the Daniel Jacobs versus Peter Quillen approach. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Go for it. Salute to you, Just Frank in the building. Says peace and love, brother. Boz too. That's what's up right there. Appreciate you, Just Frank. Hey, be sure to check out Just Frank. He has the channel. Does some gaming there. Check it out here myself here and there. I see you over there doing your thing. Ghost Recon Master right here or Rainbow Six. I don't know if it's Ghost Recon, but certainly one of the Tom Clancy games.
Oh,
You're a
gaming,
master in it there. It's like second
right?
nature for you. So, hey, worthy of checking out right there. Very interesting because I never did play it, but it's cool seeing Just Frank do his thing in there. And it's like he just has it all mastered in terms of what you need to do, how you take out the opponents, all that good stuff. So, salute to you, Just Frank. Give him a subscribe, people.
I'm
Appreciate
gonna
it.
have to lay
Um,
down now.
Skywalker up in the mix says salute once again. Shout out to my man Max Duran in the building right there. Says up, fellas. Hope everything is good. Appreciate you being
Hey,
here,
Max.
Max. Most certainly appreciate you being here. Hey, it's always great to have dialogue, chat, all that good stuff. No doubt about it there. So Max Duran, folks, in the building. Just Frank says be doing a bacon sandwich next. Yes, Breakpoint. Okay, Breakpoint is the game right there. Uh, so cool, good stuff right there. Rod Scott says LMAO 1%, no doubt. And Just Frank 86 bucks, thanks for the love, bro. Hey, anytime. So yeah, worthy of checking out there for sure. But yeah, we're talking a little boxing. Appreciate everyone who just dropped in. As mentioned, we've been talking a little bit about the action from the past weekend. We are talking about Mbili getting that win over Derevianchenko in a tough fight. And we were just talking about Makhmedov versus Guido Vianello and how Makhmedov looked bad fundamentally, very bad. Basically, is one way of just summing it up in simple layman terms. He just looked bad, but he
Yeah.
just has a problem dealing with someone who chooses to go the patient, fundamental, utilizing skills route. You
Yeah.
work behind the jab, kind of mix up your punches. Guido was slipping in a few uppercuts that were landing cleanly on him. And Makhmedov, one huge problem and or red flag is just the way that he charges in, which basically his entire head, face, chin exposed. And if you wanted to have someone who could really slip in some of those big, powerful uppercuts, so you think about size and all that stuff, and how these are like big and massive guys. Just think about a smaller fighter. Think about a Tyson. If Makhmedov is charging in like that, and Tyson is able to dip and land those uppercuts that he was known to land, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would the size matter as much then? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he'd end up flatlined out there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, Mark Miller just got no defense, you might say. And who would have thought? Everybody. I think most of us thought that once he lost, it would be to some bigger name, like Joshua or whatever, Wilder. But first he loses to Caballel, who at the time wasn't really that highly regarded, and now to Villanello, who also, until
Oh yeah,
now hasn't been regarded as a really strong contender. So
yeah.
that's kind of funny.
That Vianello, he lost to Efe Ajagba.
Yeah,
And hey, I like Vianello. I think these fights
quick
that he's been
decision.
getting as of late have helped him grow. So he lost to him, and then he lost to he lost to someone else too.
You mean,
Vianello.
oh yeah, he lost. I think it was a cut loss to some unknown guy. That was a big shock. I remember the
Yeah,
name.
I'm gonna see who that was real quick because yeah, it is a name that
7th round, I
yeah,
believe.
Jonathan Rice. Jonathan Rice, yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
was. That was like his first loss there. Jonathan freaking Rice. And Jonathan Rice is one of
that's
those guys who veteran who's slick, skilled somewhat, but one of those guys that you beat to get to that next level. Now was a cut. I think Vanillo has shown a little bit better since that actual loss, so he's still out there doing his thing, of course. Uh, Skywalker neck twitching eye closed up. LOL. Indeed, indeed. Salute to Trey Titan. Trey Titan 176. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Says what up, 86 and pizza all in the chat. Appreciate you there. Trey Titan doing your thing. Hey, appreciate the love right there. Hey, be sure to go check out Trey, folks. Just Frank gonna lurk and chill with his sandwich. Have fun. Hey, appreciate you dropping in
sandwich.
as always. Hey, it's always good to have you here. I'm about to eat that sandwich, baby. Hey, I feel you. I had some a little bit earlier. Skywalker says Matt Badov looked like the creature from the Goonies last night.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
sloth.
that's how he ended up for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Trey Titan, great weekend of fights. Definitely. Most certainly. Rodolfo, Jonathan Rice hasn't fought since. Isn't taking advantage of the momentum. Wow, crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, he
yeah,
is one of
weird.
those sort of wily veterans who known to get in there and mix it up with some guys that are expected to beat him. And he's been able to do his thing here and there. You know, he's been in some, if you look at his actual resume, he's been in with some names that you'll be very much familiar with. And he has had some success here and there. But yeah, not hey, I am surprised that he didn't take advantage of this momentum because we've seen him on TV a number of times because he's usually one of those guys that is brought in as an opponent. So you'll see him on TV for sure. But he was
Yeah,
able to get Vianello, but I think maybe in a different fight or if they fought again, I think Vianello would probably get him at this juncture, just given that, of course, the activity and him not having fought since then. And I think that Vianello probably a little bit better. So we'll see what's up. Johnny Rice was supposed to be my ref for Border Wars in Vegas before they scratched it. Oh wow, that's pretty funny. I didn't know he would do. He does officiating there. Skywalker, that's pretty cool. Oh, so Big Johnny Rice, awesome. If you're talking about the same Rice, or just so happened they had the same name, but yeah, if he officiates, pretty awesome right there. I didn't know that, so maybe that's why he's out there doing his officiating thing. Why he hasn't fought, but interesting for sure. Um, so
wasn't there some kind of guy? I think there was a light heavy or middleweight. Sorry, contender with the
yeah,
same
same
name.
one. Oh yeah, same one. So Jonathan Rice out there officiating. Salute to my fellow official right there, Jonathan Rice doing his thing.
Oh no, sorry, that was Jonathan Reed. I was
Oh,
thinking
Jonathan Reed.
who
Okay, that
lost
is
to
official.
he lost to William Joppy in a title fight, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah,
Canadian.
yeah,
Okay, William Joppy out of this area here, this DC area, this DMV. So salute William Joppy.
yeah.
Uh,
Very good fighter he was.
oh yes, oh yes. One of the names on Bernard Hopkins' resume right there in middleweight. He fought a lot
Yeah,
of guys out of this area.
yeah,
So,
he
but
was.
yeah, so that's funny. Jonathan Rice was gonna officiate you, Skywalker. Shout out Skywalker. He was gonna get in that ring, throw some things, you know. So that's pretty funny right there. Rodolfo says that's good if he becomes a ref. We need bigger refs, especially for those heavyweight
Yeah,
fights. They have been these undersized refs trying to separate these heavies. Oh yeah,
yeah.
the referee last night missed a knockdown that should have been credited to Vianello, where he hit Makhmadov and made Makhmadov drop down with both gloves touching the canvas. The referee missed it. Interesting, right? He was a smaller ref. But yeah, these are two big guys right there, both 6'6". You could say 6'6" plus because when they were standing face to face, Vianello actually looked like he might be a little bit taller than Makhmadov in actuality.
Well, Mac, though, I believe is actually 6'5.5", so that's why
Okay.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah, because I know Vianello did look to be a little bit taller. So interesting. Max Duran, William Joppy beat up Roberto Duran, but Duran was a shell of himself by the end. Yep, I do recall
yeah.
that. We're looking
Three
into that lately.
rounds,
And
third
this was
round
in the
stoppage.
2000s, right? So Roberto Duran, folks, was fighting in the 2000s.
No, that was in '98. He
Oh, 98?
retired. Yeah, he retired in 2001. But that was because he had a
Okay.
car accident. So
Oh, okay. So 98.
Yeah.
Disregard 98. Thanks. Hey,
Mm.
Boz knows what's going down in those eras for sure. He's got it
Yeah.
down pat. Hey, that's why I appreciate you having you here. Give me that. Give me that knowledge right there. So 98, William Jaffe stopped him. But I knew that Duran fought in the 2000s, which is pretty crazy when you think
Yeah, he
about it.
did. He was 50 when he retired, actually, and he started in 69 or 68 or something.
Wow, just
Yeah,
the amount of
16,
decades right there. There's
32
some other boxers,
years.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
crazy.
There's been some other boxers fought in a number of different decades like that as well, which is pretty amazing. We're looking at
Yeah.
Kid Azteca last night, another guy who started in 1929 and fought through the 50s, maybe even got to the 60s.
Kid Azteca. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah, I think
come
he for
across.
sure fought in the 50s. I think he might have ended somewhere in the 50s, which is just insane to think about it. So
Yeah.
you see
There
some of
was,
that.
yeah, Johnny Bandit Romero also. I think he had
Mm.
over 100 fights anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, that's crazy thinking about it. Arthur McKenty was a great ref, says Alexander Kimmel. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
He's one of the best to do it right there. I
Senior.
actually, yeah, Arthur
Senior.
McKenty Senior. Yeah, make that
Yeah.
distinction for sure. Make that distinction. It's not that the
Junior,
son,
not as much. I don't have much love for Junior, but
not that he's
Senior.
the worst, but certainly he's not
No,
his
but
father in there.
yeah, he's not his dad. He's all right, but not as great as his dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was joining the officiating ranks, or when I first joined the officiating ranks, shout out to Brent Bovell, who's been a mentor in the officiating ranks there, one of the best referees in the world there, no doubt about it. But he recommended the book Third Man in the Ring by Arthur McKenty. I got to read it and his story, kind of upbringing and the area they're from, which I believe is like Brockton, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, and that
Same as
was a fight town.
was it Rocky Marciano
Yeah,
or
Rocky Marciano. You
yeah,
had Marvin Hagler tied
Marvin?
to it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
John
right.
Ruiz, the
Oh
quiet
yeah,
man.
him
So
too, right?
yeah, you look up Brockton and that area of Massachusetts in general, you'll see that man, a lot of pretty solid fighters. And there are some other fighters that were from there as well who fought back in the day who were contenders during the
Mm,
time, things of that nature. But it was a very good book. But yeah, good night there, Alexander Campbell. Indeed, great referee.
yeah,
Had some big fights in the Madison Square Garden, which was the Mecca at the time. Uh, Even though Vegas, I guess, is the spot now, and seems like Riyadh is turning into one of those spots as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
So
that
interesting
guy
stuff.
Turkey is gaining a lot of influence. It seems to be, which
Oh
may
yeah.
be good, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, indeed. Yeah, Max Duran says pretty diabolical when you consider that Duran was fighting for when he was 16 until he was 50. Yeah,
Yeah,
insane,
he comes from
insane.
a tough neighborhood, El Chorillo. Yeah,
Oh yeah, and
Panama
uh,
City.
oh yeah, 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 no doubt about it. And as far as boxing movies, I really enjoyed Hands of Stone. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. I feel like you've
Oh
got a mix
yeah,
of everything you look for with the plot, the drama. You had the love angle, just a mix of all that. I thought they did a very solid job.
the way he fought, those street fights to make himself even tougher. That part that was very,
Oh
very
yeah, oh
like
yeah. So good movie
fascinating.
there. If you haven't
Yeah,
seen it, certainly it's a good movie. Oh,
yeah,
Max hasn't seen it, but I plan on seeing it. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I really enjoyed it there, Max. You seen it? You saw it, right, Boz?
yeah, yeah. I've seen it twice or three times,
Okay.
but I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. It's a pretty solid movie, when you think
Yeah.
about some of the
Oh
boxing movies
yeah.
that come out.
By the way, just last week, I believe I saw Big George for the first time. The movie. It was
Okay.
all right. Yeah, not bad.
They kept it more family friendly.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of like that. I thought, but it was all right. Anyway, not a bad movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Yeah, from overall. Shout out to my man Jose Flora, another ref who's been a mentor here from the area. He was in there officiating the Rumble in the Jungle in that
I thought
movie.
he deserved to get his,
Yeah.
his movie because we've seen the Ali and get his of course due many times, so he deserved his due as well. Big George.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, certainly. No, we're not giving you any spoilers there, Max. I feel you. No, no, we're not gonna give you any spoilers.
And you know, I might add, it was impressive. How impressive it is when you think that he's the only guy to destroy both Joe Frazier and Ken Norton in 2 rounds. Come on.
Wow. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
crazy. And when we say destroy, man, did he destroy
yeah,
them? Uh,
just that was too
he the
impressive.
way he took out Joe Frazier in that first fight was just like
Yeah,
he never had a chance. And
yeah, George was just steamrolled.
and he ragdolled Ken Norton. Imagine that. The big
Yeah,
6'3", 200 plus pound guy getting ragdolled.
yeah, just
That's one of my
bang.
favorite stoppages right there, or just victories, quick victories. I mean, just ragdolling
That's
Norton.
that's a vulgar display of power, as Pantera the band called it. Vulgar display of power.
Yeah, he was a menace in there in that ring, you know. And he, interestingly enough, and he made a this person made a quick cameo in the movie, quick cameo, but he kind of learned a few things from Sonny Liston when you saw the
Oh yeah,
stare down and some of the things he even said before. You can see in some old interviews. Yeah, Sonny Liston, another guy like that. He
oh
was kind of
yeah.
ragdolling Floyd Patterson in there.
He was wow. He was also really like that strong. I mean, that was like all inspiringly strong. All
Yeah, yeah.
struck. Yeah,
So that young George had some traits modeled after Sonny Liston, my fellow Arkansan there. Y'all know him, Charles Sonny Liston, the Bear.
Charles Sony. Yeah,
We're
they
going
did
down a
kind of.
history track right here.
Yeah, they did some exhibitions together, as far as I
Yeah,
remember reading. Yeah, him and George.
yep. This is
Uh,
when I think this was prior to George turning pro, or yeah,
yeah, it was just
yeah,
before. Yeah, I believe after the Olympics. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's pretty good, you know. And at the time, Liston was he the world champion at the time? I think he.
No, he
Oh no,
didn't.
no.
He
Yeah, you're right.
wasn't after 64.
Oh yeah, it is right. Yeah,
Yeah,
so no, yeah, not the guy then, but that's still pretty solid not to have because
yeah,
Foreman or Tony Liston, despite the Ali losses, he was on a pretty solid run even after that. You know,
he was. Yeah. Then he got knocked out by Leotis Martin.
the
Yeah,
Otis Martin, yeah, that was a brutal one right there.
yeah.
That was a brutal one. And he actually came back from that last fight. Chuck Wepner of all
Oh
people.
yeah,
Oh, Chuck,
the
tough guy right there for
Bayonne,
sure.
Bayonne bleeder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, another tough guy. When we talk tough guys in the sport, yeah, Chuck
Yeah,
Wepner definitely one of those guys.
big guy too, like 6'5" was he or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, Chuck Wepner, Rocky Balboa, right there, folks.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know right there. So good stuff for sure. Max Duran, ridiculous. People think Mike Tyson was scary. George Foreman and Tony Liston were different. Yeah, most certainly. Most certainly, yeah. Two
they were
intimidating men in there for sure.
they were all scary, but yeah, I mean, you don't hear that enough about those two, definitely.
And in the case of Sonny Liston, certainly outside of the ring, some of the run-ins he had as a youngster, all that stuff too, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So
Sonny
interesting.
was was a character like George. People kind of always knocked him, just like Larry Holmes, for being kind of dull, boring, not very
Oh yeah.
colorful. But he was rather kind of still. He showed some kind of wisdom when he did speak. He never said stupid things. He was
Oh yeah.
always kind of deep and never outspoken, and yeah.
Oh
So.
yeah. No, no, I'm with you there for sure.
um,
I'm with you. No, that's good stuff right there. And Rasclot says Tyson was scary in his era, no doubt, no doubt in his era. Yeah, he had it down right there. He had his little mental focus and intimidation that was tied to him. Some, and I know he modeled some things after Jack Dempsey, the great Manasseh Mauler. So
yeah.
hey, that's no doubt.
But it's kind of almost ridiculous how I don't know about now, but I know Larry Holmes was angry at Foreman for a long time because they were supposed to fight, in '98, and then Foreman retired, you know.
Yeah,
So Larry, I guess, feels he screwed him for a last big payday or something.
yeah. In '98, yeah, that would have been an interesting contest right there. Two old guys battling it out, basically.
Yeah, actually, they are born the same year. Only George is born in January and Larry in November. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think was more past it?
I don't know really.
I remember Larry fought Butterbean. I watched that too.
Oh yeah. I mean, Larry was in good shape for a long time. Yeah, he beat Mike Weaver like in, I
Oh
don't know,
yeah,
99. Stopped
Mike
him even.
Weaver, fighting Marine right there. Mike Weaver. Hey,
Yeah.
talk about a specimen of a human being right there. Mike Weaver is one of
Oh
those
yeah.
guys.
The Hercules.
Yes, sir. The Hercules. Yeah, he was one who, he had some ups and downs. Maybe,
Mm.
maybe in a different, gone a different route, getting with different groups here early on. Could have been an even different story for his career, even though he was able to become world champion.
Yeah. And he lost that under controversial circumstances as well. The referee stopped the fight against Dogs too soon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, which is
And
yeah,
Michael Dogs was very
yep.
fast on it for a heavyweight. He was really
Michael
fast.
Dokes. Yep, that is. Was and I think Weaver was he the first to stop Gary Coetzee?
Yeah, probably. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Okay. I believe that might have been the case, but no, that's pretty good stuff right there for sure.
Mm.
Alexander says I saw Frazier fights. Joe's style was tailor made for him in terms of George Foreman. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hey, it showed certainly when they stepped in there. Definitely showed.
Yeah, when he started to limp after that last knockdown, you remember that Fraser guy?
Yeah,
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 that was
yeah,
funny.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it there. So yeah, hey, good points being made there, Rasclot and Max. Yeah, and then Rasclot says Michael Doak and Tubbs had the fastest hand in the heavyweight division back then.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Tubbs.
Tony
Yeah,
Tubbs.
Tubbs was very clever. He was probably the most clever of those. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
heavyweights. Mm.
No, that's big nods right there for sure.
Yeah,
Some big nods.
but not in great shape. So that kind of was worked against him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the story we've seen with some of these fighters who had the potential for even more greatness, if only they got that piece of it right. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. That's right.
So
So, but he was very, yeah, like
yeah, that
amazing.
dedication and focus comes with it, folks.
Hmm.
That certainly comes with it. Um,
Totally.
yeah, I know we're going down a history path there, which we love to
Yeah.
discuss right there. Real
It's
quick, we'll
all
go through
too
this card.
it's all too easy to go down. So we haven't
Yeah, yeah. It is.
yeah,
It
have
is.
we haven't yet got to Bohachuk Ortiz fight, have we? No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, we hadn't got to that one. Yeah, yeah, we could go to that
Yeah.
one real quick. I wanted to say Abdullah Mason got a second round stoppage against a late replacement opponent who had been in there with Tiger Johnson. But Abdullah Mason looks like he's going to be a potential star right there. The attraction he's been on, and I also want to nod that I only saw highlights of it, but Denzel Bentley had an impressive knockout over a guy in Britain, Osaze. Is his name? So I hadn't
Oh
seen him,
yeah.
but hey, if you haven't seen it, Boz, I know there are clips out there. It was a pretty
No, I
impressive
haven't.
knockout.
But I know I did pick him to win by knockout in the prediction league that I am in.
Oh yeah,
So
I had him
yeah.
by decision, but man, that knockout, yeah, be sure to check that out. Everyone, if you hadn't seen that one, checked out that knockout. Denzel Bentley pulled out a pretty impressive one here over the weekend. Just in the midst of a combination, knocked the guy out, which is
Yeah.
always pretty interesting to see for sure.
Interesting. Yeah. Bentley is a kind of promising fighter.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This
yeah. Listed not
yeah.
Cleveland Williams to La La Land,
Yeah.
not the Asian Tabby Cat Ali.
That
Yeah,
was
he did.
third round knockout, yeah, I believe. Well, I think they fought more than once, have they? Maybe I don't know.
I,
Or,
that
or,
might have. I'm
or
trying to
was
see.
it
That
against
might have.
Ali that Cleveland
But
Williams maybe fought?
No,
twice.
he only fought Ali once.
Right, then it's Liston. Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
fought at least twice, but I remember Liston won by third round knockout the first time, I think. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it is. So most certainly, and then Rascal said not Ali fought, but Ali beat Liston twice. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
some of those are.
The second time too easy.
Yeah, and that's one I know I've had some conversations on. That Phantom Punch looked legit to me, but
Yeah.
I don't know. For some, it's just a little too suspicious looking, huh?
Yeah. Kind of was, yeah.
Hey, yeah, that's an interesting one. I know that that could be a whole video in itself right there for sure.
Yeah. We better not start that down that lane now.
Oh yeah, Rodolfo asked thoughts on the Phantom Punch. Everyone,
Come on, what are you doing?
look, buddy, you're ready, Rodolfo. But real quick from Saturday, 10 August was Ortiz Boachuk. This was a 154-pound title clash for WBC Interim World Super Welterweight Championship that ended in majority decision in favor of Virgil Ortiz, who won via scores of 114, 112 on two cards, and then one judge had it 113, 113. I know you saw it there, Boz, and I thought it was a I thought it was the fight of the year thus far. As far as the fights that
Yeah.
I can remember so far this year, and I had to look back at a listing of them, but I thought it was the fight of the year because you got a lot of back and forth from both of those guys, some big shots. And I will say that the story I will say that what we saw from a visual perspective, yeah, it definitely looked worse for Virgil Ortiz from that standpoint. But hey, I have to be transparent. I scored it via fight night scores, and I had it 114, 111 for Virgil Ortiz. Now, maybe there are some rounds where I did a disservice to Boachuk. That's what I scored it. The judges had it 114,
111.
112.
How did you
Yeah.
get 111? I'm just wondering.
I
That was
know what I
great.
did was and I probably should have, but the
You
one
took an
knockdown
extra
round,
point
that
off.
second knockdown round with how Ortiz came back, I gave it a 9-8. That's where the 111 came from.
Why
In
not?
theory, it could have been a 10-9.
Did Bohachuk lose a point or something?
No. Just based on the way the
Oh, right,
latter
right.
portion of the round transpired.
Yeah, that was like in the eighth round or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, Ortiz took. Yeah, he came back in that round. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
But
know. I think
yeah,
it would have
Bochuk, I will say, definitely had him looking out of sorts in some of
scared.
those rounds for sure.
Well, not scared, but yeah, on his toes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I thought the draw would have been fair. I mean, because I thought
Yeah.
it's a close fight, and yeah, I mean, Bohachuk scored those two knockdowns, and even if you
Yeah.
don't give him 2 points for that eighth round, I mean, still it's a little unfair to have him lose that fight. But yeah, I mean, Ortiz, he's pretty protected. He's a golden boy. I mean, isn't he? Asset. So yeah, that says it all. Like Bohachuk is a newcomer there on that world, the big stage, elite level. So they are figuring, yeah, he is not gonna fight anyway. He should not fight, or he can't take a loss. So that's how they, I guess,
Yeah.
figure the judges. And for Ortiz, the loss would be bad because maybe it will, put an end to a potential fight with maybe Crawford or
Oh
someone
yeah,
like
most
that.
certainly.
Yeah, so that would definitely make it more harder to make a fight with somebody like Crawford. And yeah, but yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was a close fight, definitely. And Bohachuk was, that was impressive that he scored those two knockdowns. Really caught They were brief, but they still really caught like Ortiz by surprise, and he was like both times, "No, no, no, that was no knockdown." He didn't like it, but yeah, they were really knockdowns, of course, and yeah, maybe I would even have given it to Bohachuk, but I'm not sure. It was close, as I said. So,
Oh
and
yeah. No, I feel you. Very close. Real quick salute to my man, Mr. Pads in the building.
hey,
Our man, Mr. Pads there. In regards to both of us there, Boz, for sure. He said, did Abdullah Mason impress you? Most certainly. And Mr. Pads says, him and Atoma are the most exciting youngsters in boxing for me. Yeah, Atoma was pretty impressive with the way he
yeah,
dispatched of Walk in that last fight as well.
Moses.
Yeah, yeah,
Moses is
yeah.
really
So he is pretty impressive. But yes, most certainly, Mr. Paz, Abdullah Mason, man, he looks to have the goods. Most certainly has that star-making potential. He goes in, he's about business. He's looking to get his opponents out there with that type of excitement, and so he's on a very, very high trajectory. So we want to see even more of him. And with the way this fight went, he didn't take any damage, so we might see him in here fairly soon. Once again, here. We
yeah,
might see him fairly soon, So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, in relation to Boychuk versus Ortiz, though, you're right, man. Boychuk, the level of toughness he showed in that contest, both of them
yeah,
showed a level of toughness. It was like, man, they really were gunning for it. Both of these guys wanted this fight. You could tell. So it's one I want to look at it again. As Rasclot mentioned, he's gonna watch it again. Yeah, I need to watch it again for sure myself there. Because it was a close one, no doubt. So if it had gone the way of Boychuk, yeah, I wouldn't have been mad because, man, both of these guys were bringing it, and Boychuk was letting some big stuff in. Did have those 2 knockdowns, and Ortiz had a hard time figuring out how to get through that guard for a lot of those rounds, and that long leanness of Boychuk, it proved to be a problem there for Ortiz. So
yeah, he's even taller. I think he's 6 feet tall or something.
yeah.
Like me, and yeah, I mean, he is. And just the way he also dominated Mendoza, that was really impressive. Mendoza.
Oh yeah, I need to see that fight right there. I do
know,
need to see that one.
Yeah, he's not a guy that just anyone can dominate. Of course, Brian Mendoza, he's no joke. Like he was coming off his biggest victory against Fundora, but yeah, he was dominated in the end. It was a competitive fight, but Bochuk definitely was dominant in that fight. So yeah.
Yeah. The commissions, yeah, hey, it's handled state by state, and you never know in terms of who's going to be the person in some states. Except you do know in some cases, like Vegas, you're going to see certain names that frequently pop up and all that stuff. But yeah, I would say, yeah, for the larger part, yeah, from a judging perspective, yeah, there are certainly some issues that have been apparent for sure there. Alex, I think you're right, and we'll see what they can do to fix this. But I like Fight Night scores. That's a potential solution, utilizing that site where you get to see why people pick the choices that they pick, all that good stuff. I think something like that would definitely be a benefit.
No, you've seen too many not so great scorecards in robberies since the last 5 or so years. So I think it did happen before, but now it's kind of starting to happen more and more, like too often. But not that this was the worst decision, of course. I mean, Ortiz did his things, have his momentum and all that. So, but yeah, still, it was kind of close, and he got knocked down, and so feels kind of like favoritism. I believe that's the
and that first one was missed, and when it happened, I was like, "Whoa, that looked like a knockdown right there to me." But they had to go back. I'm glad they went back. I do think that's something that should be implemented across the board as far as knockdowns. If we're going to use the replay thing, that's most certainly one to use it on. And with those knockdowns, if there's a potential knockdown or whatever, having someone looking at it to make sure if it was, it's properly credited.
Yeah, also that can be a little tricky, you know. I mean, we have seen also in the past some knockdowns getting, you know, not getting recognized, being judged to be slips. You know, that's also bullshit. You don't want that. You know, that because it's very important for the points in the end. You know, also if the fight goes a distance. You know, so
Oh yeah. Yeah,
hey
yeah,
Ross,
certainly.
champ.
Salute to Champ Ross in the building here. Big up Champ Ross. Give him a lot. Give him a subscribe, folks. He has a prediction league for fantasy prediction league. You can definitely hit him up. It's on Facebook. Hey, it's a good thing going, and I always enjoy submitting predictions towards it. So
Yeah,
be sure to connect with Champ Ross there. Appreciate you dropping by, buddy, for sure.
that's
But yeah,
fine.
yeah, great point. But that's fight of the year there. I think Boz and
Yeah,
hey, maybe we get a
definitely one.
rematch. You know. Maybe we get a
Yeah, I
rematch.
hope so. I mean, it would be fair for both, you know. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope
Yeah,
so.
yeah, certainly. But yeah, you want to see things right at that level and stage with the implications
Yeah,
involved. So I'm
and
with
you
you there,
know,
most certainly.
given that Bohachuk was the title holder, you know, I think he also from that angle he kind of deserves a rematch. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Ortiz's face, yeah, it was pretty effed
yeah,
up there. I will say, Alex. Yeah, if you went
you
off the
know,
visual aspect, most certainly
yeah,
Ortiz definitely lost that.
yeah,
Certainly,
man,
I agree with you. Most certainly. And then I want to note that on the card, my girl Gabby Thundora fought like her. I think that she's one of the exciting women to watch in the sport right there. Fights like her brother Sebastian, who I like as well. Just all off pitch there. Bring
yeah.
it. So she looked impressive against the girl she was going to, who was 5'1". Fedora's 5'9". Fedora was tagging her up, man.
Even though she's not as long as her brother, she still is pretty tall for a female fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Charles Conwell made a return and got a quick knockout in 2 rounds over, I think it's Josiah Gray or something like that. Charles Conwell is at 154. Let me see here. Is he
oh
154?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Charles.
154. He's a guy who can punch. Seemingly, he's got like some. It's just like he's got the brute raw strength, and he's one to watch right here.
Mm,
This is his first fight in a while, so we'll see if he gets matched up with one of those guys there at the top end of 154. And he's one to watch right there, Charles Conwell. Now, Mr. Paz mentioned Josh and Boz. What do y'all feel about Jarrett Hurd versus Jason Rosario on the 21st of August? That's going to be on Pro Box.
yeah,
That is
that's
going to be
one.
happening at
Uh,
160 pounds at that there, Boz. What do you think?
yeah, I had problems really picking that fight. You know, in that league where I am. I mean, you don't know. I mean, I did pick her in the end to win on points. So, but you know, you don't know with him. You know, he has recently lost by I think a cut, not TKO or something to some Latin fighter. I don't remember the name. Really long name he
Yeah,
has.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but also Rosario has been knocked out like 4 times, I believe. He
yeah.
has since scored a couple of knockouts also.
They might have
So
been
you
in the
know,
Dominican Republic.
yeah, the banana. So
Yeah,
he's probably if somebody wins by knockout, it will most likely be him. But if it
yeah,
goes the distance, then Hurd I think probably wins. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen her at his gym and some events around here, and he's been in shape. He looks to be in
yeah,
shape. So I'd imagine that the weight won't be an issue for him. Now, he had some kind of ups and downs, him and Rosario. Rosario, of course, when he's on his game, looks pretty special at times. But of
yeah.
course, there's always something with Rosario that kind of just throws you for a loop that happens, and
Yeah.
the chin is not quite there. Then
Mm,
taking a body shot jab, knockout loss to Charlo. That was another one that had you like, oh my, like that was out of
yeah.
nowhere. Uh,
That
her,
doesn't look good.
yeah, Hurd on the other hand is a guy who, one of the tough ones for sure. He would take punches to get off his punches. similar to Mbili in that sense, in terms of these are guys who, hey, yeah, they'll take some punches, but they are still banging there or whatnot. He went and started to work on some things from a fundamental perspective. So we'll see where he's at now. For both of them, I guess you could say kind of crossroads like fight. I used that earlier. I said for Derevianchenko, but yeah, for both of them, I don't know. I don't know where it leads as far as if it's going to be anything title contention or pushing worthy for the two of them at this stage. 160 is fairly open, I guess you can say, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Hurd is an enigma. Like, just when you thought he was becoming or had become a big guy at 154, he lost to J Rock.
Yeah,
what a great upset and big surprise.
Yeah, that was an excellent fight right there for sure.
Yeah, and then J Rock goes on to get knocked out by Rosario.
Yeah, right. That's when he lost it too. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like, what the heck is going on here in this division? Like, Hurd, and I think Hurd probably was, struggling. I don't know if he had managerial problems or, focus, dedication problems. I don't know what it was, but he definitely isn't the same guy he used to be, before he fought J Rock. And
we'll see for sure. Champ Ross mentions Rosario's still young. I think he's 29. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Thinking about it. So yeah, certainly still time there for him to do his thing.
That's kind of an old 29, you might say. It's not that young, but we'll see. He can still do something, I guess. I mean, he just needs, he needs.
And Hurd is 33.
Yeah, right. Hurd,
So they're both. Hey, you look at their records. Hurd's 25-3. Rosario's 24-4-1. So it's kind of close. So yeah, they're pretty close. Like when you look at the record, of course, where they've operated, and then just thinking about it from I believe a size standpoint as well.
Didn't Rosario also get knocked out by Lubin? I think it was something like that.
Yep, Erickson Lubin got him, and then Brian Mendoza was the last one to stop him.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, the first was Nathaniel Gallimore, the Jamaican fighter.
Oh yeah, Gallimore.
And Gallimore has since become pretty much a journeyman since then.
Yeah, like when you got all your losses by knockout, that proves your chin isn't that great, So.
I'm with Champ Ross there. I do think it's a pretty good matchup that it'll be interesting. It's hard for me to call just thinking about it myself. I have to think about that in terms of who I think will get the victory. Because it's gonna be interesting. I think Rosario's been a bit more active when you look at it from the amount of 22. Well, I guess not really much active. Hurd, he fought. Yeah, though it's not even. It's pretty much close. Yeah, everything is pretty much close with the two of them. Hurd seemingly had the better chin, even though he was stopped once. But I know he was going through some things there.
He's like the taller guy, also. I
personally, it looked like by a little bit, 5'11 and a half, 5'11. What they have there.
I thought he was 6'1". That was a mistake, I guess.
Yeah, you never know with some of these listings. You never know.
Yeah.
But so very interesting matchup.
He's a big guy still, also for 160.
No, legit. So he is about 6 feet tall, I would say, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Well, he is somewhere around there. So I think somewhere around there. It'll be an interesting one.
There was a time when you had all these guys at 154, like Willie Nelson, 6'3", Tony Harrison, 6'1", and Hurd around 6 feet. And what the heck is going on here?
I remember old Willie Nelson. We're not talking to singer, folks.
Yeah.
But Willie Nelson, hey, he could punch.
Yeah.
He could. But
He did
yeah,
stop Tony Harrison. Yeah.
yeah. So he had some moments in there, but yeah, it was an interesting mix. 154 has generally always had some guys who are kind of buddying on that stardom level and all that good stuff, and put on some good fights, some good matchups. So very interesting, no doubt about it. Champ Ross says, "Is it me or does ESPN commentary ask the fight to be stopped too much? Bradley and Kriego call for fights to be stopped like they got money on it or something." Maybe they're in the prediction league there, Champ. Maybe
Yeah.
they're in that prediction league.
Who
Undercover right
knows?
there.
You never know. Somebody
Yeah.
might have a betting problem.
Oh yeah. Hey, you never know for sure. But that's pretty funny
Yeah.
though. But no, they do that. I feel like that Villanello Makhmedov fight, yeah, certainly could have been stopped earlier. But they do that. You do hear it. It's one
Yeah,
of those
like
things for
I
sure.
understand those trainers when you see a guy take a beating for like 6, 7 rounds and have his eye like that. I would have stopped it, but they sent him out for one more round. I'm like, why? Does he
Oh yeah.
look like he can just produce a sudden turnaround? He does not. Sure, hell doesn't.
Yeah,
So
no, but yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, champ, you're on to something, champ. We hear you. You are on to something. They do always call for some kind of stopping. Like, oh
yeah,
look, now this round you can't go past it. Trust me. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you forget about the fighter's ego getting hurt or wounded. You gotta tell him, "Hey, buddy, you are finished. I'm
So yeah,
stopping this fight." Yeah,
referees and doctors, hey,
yeah.
get in there, do the
This ain't
thing.
this ain't a Rocky movie. Like, don't stop it. I'll kill you if you stop it. And
Or
he goes out.
cut me.
Yeah, goes out and knocks the guy out in the last second, like after getting totally bashed. Like, you
Right.
know,
That's what Makhmedov was looking for last night.
yeah,
Didn't quite come. Didn't quite happen like the movies, as they say.
yeah.
Hey, Mr. Pad says, Josh and Bob, what do you make of the recent rumors about Wilder potentially coming back to fight either Chisora at heavyweight or Lawrence Okoli at bridgerweight? Interesting. Would you
No,
guys like any
Chisora,
of those
please.
fights?
Yeah, that was. I mean, I don't care really. I mean, if he, but the Zhang fight did establish that he is long gone as a true contender. Since the last Fury fight, of course. That was the end of Deontay Wilder. So,
Yeah.
then he got
No,
his
I hear you.
sparring partner Hellenius to play first to act the first act out first round knockout loss. So just
Yeah.
so he could say, "Yeah, I'm back. I'm still game." Yeah,
Yeah. No, yeah. Hellenius at that point was, yeah, definitely kind of tailor made for him landing that right hand.
yeah, yeah. That was just a little kind of suspicious, but anyway, yeah, I don't like that. Well, Coley, I don't know. Bridgerweight, I don't think so. I don't sure hope not. Wilder fights at Bridgerweight now.
Well, he showed he could have success at heavyweight, so yeah, it wouldn't mean as much. I don't think because he's always been Bridger weight wise, and it
Yeah,
hasn't bothered him. So that kind of is one of those things that quells the notion of Bridger weight being sort of needed from an overall perspective. Wilder's always been generally around that 214 range, and
yeah. That's
fought
just
guys in 250 and up.
that's why I guess that's why Dillian White called him a basketball player. Because 6 foot
Yeah,
7 and 214. That's like more like a basketballer's
it is. Yeah,
physique.
it is. Yeah. No,
Mm.
you're right. And he put on some muscle in that third Fury fight and got to 233, I believe. Uh, and uh,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
he did.
that was a good fight. It was a good fight.
Mm. I mean, I thought he did. I mean, offer like resistance against Zhang, but it was just you know f-
Oh yeah,
helpless in the end. Like got really destroyed there. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah. To your question there, Mr. Paz, I think I watch it for sure. Maybe the Chisora fight, since both of them are basically at the end of their career. Chisora just manages to somehow keep winning, some of the fights that you don't expect, and I think it'll be interesting. I think that's the more interesting fight as opposed to Okoli, who I thought looked good in his first fight at Bridgerweight or heavyweight, whatever it was at. Maybe it was Bridgerweight when he knocked out that guy that was seemingly in over his head too, size wise and all that. But yeah, I would go with Chisora there myself, Mr. Paz. It'd just be interesting to see what would happen because Chisora's always been one of these guys who managed to keep himself up there in the spotlight and ranks with some of the talk and you could say antics at times and all that stuff. I'd imagine a press conference and a build-up type stuff would be fairly interesting just between the two of them. And Chisora, man, he was able to go out there and beat Joyce in a fight that I thought Joyce would defeat him.
Yeah, Joyce is just damaged goods, damaged goods.
Yeah, right. And so yeah, we would surely see how much Deontay Wilder has left in the tank with Derek Chisora. So if that is to be the case, then I would say the Chisora matchup because it's just interesting in so many ways, given the height difference, length, and all of that, and just the style of fighting. I'd imagine it'll be pretty offensive. I would imagine, and maybe not go the distance, but that's the same thing I thought about the Joyce fight.
Imagine there can't be a worse way to end your career for Wilder than getting knocked out by Derek Chisora.
Right, that would be really the true sign that hang it up completely.
Really terrible.
Right, that would be a true sign. But that's the type of opponent, I guess, when you're looking to kind of make the little comeback statement and say, I am that guy. I'm not out of here yet. Then you should be able to beat Chisora. So it'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny. I go that route right there. But yeah, great question here, Mr. Pat. Real quick here, Boz, before we wrap this thing up, I'm just looking ahead to next week. Yeah, so Wednesday is that Herd Rosario fight, which we spoke of.
Yeah.
And then I know you're going to be checking out Mayweather Jr. versus Gotti on Saturday there, Bob. So let me know what happens in that contest.
I don't think so, but
yeah, and then looks like that's I guess the big card for Saturday. That seems to be the big card. That Mayweather versus freaking Gotti. But no, then you have Nahir Albright taking on Chris Colbert, so that should be fairly interesting.
Okay, right.
And there's a card in Japan taking place on I'm guessing the 24th, but I don't know what the time will be, but I'm assuming early. So yeah, not a ton of huge stuff going, but yeah, that Mayweather Gotti also is a pay-per-view on the Zone. So yeah,
pay-per-view.
Why anyone would pay pay-per-view for him against the son of a mob boss?
Or actually, he is the grandson. Well, yeah, his father also was a mobster, but not as famous as his own.
Oh yeah. So there is So he's Gotti the third. So yeah, his father and then I guess the grandfather or whatnot. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's what's happening this next weekend. So we'll see. We'll talk about the Herd stuff and all that action or whatnot, and then we'll just kind of take it from there as far as what else is interesting out there in the sports world. But man, it's been a good one, of course, and we appreciate everyone who's dropped by, showed some love, most certainly. Thank you all for being here, as always. Hit up the Boz. You'll see him there on Facebook or on YouTube as the Boz or Just Boz. Just Boz. At Just Boz. So look up Just Boz. And then, of course, on Facebook, The Boxing Haven. Hey, we appreciate you all taking the time, no doubt. It's always great to have the dialogue and chat. And Boz, any closing words?
Yeah, just stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
Stay tuned. Hey, that's the way to go right there. So, all right, my man. All right, folks, have a good one. Hey, we'll catch you all maybe next week. So stay cool for sure.